Okay, tonight's video is how to fry yellow squash in the summer. Now for me, my favorite summertime food is yellow squash from the garden. That and BLTs. If I have those two things in the summertime, I'm happy. So I've already fried one batch of squash just to kind of test the temperature of the skillet. And you know, just to see what temperature I need to fry the squash on. So now I'm gonna take my bowl full of squash that I cut up. And I cut these in nice thick pieces. You don't have to, cut them however you like. And then I took some self-rising flour and put it on the plate. The disposable plate, you want it to be disposable if you have it, that way you could just throw it away. And easy to clean up the mess. But don't tell my son, because he wouldn't want me using disposable dishes, especially styrofoam. Okay, so with the self-rising flour, I put in salt and pepper into the flour and then stirred it up. Oh yeah, here's a nice, thick, juicy piece of squash. So just kind of, you know, I've got the squash in a bowl of water. You know, the cut up raw squash, it's in a bowl of water. That way the breading will stick onto the water. Looks like I got my fire a little bit too hot on the last round. Can you see how brown this grease is? It's not supposed to be that brown. So whenever it gets like that, what you have to do is throw this out and wash the skillet. I really don't wash it with soap, I just kind of use hot water. And then I put some new frying oil in there. I'm using vegetable oil for this. And I have the skillet on low right now, but whenever I was cooking the last batch, I turned it up to medium because it was taking them too long to cook. And the thing with the temperature of the skillet, you know, you want it to be hot enough that when you put the squash in here, the breading will stay on the squash. So it has to be hot enough to stick the breading onto it. But you don't want it so hot that it burns. Like you see how brown it is here? It's not burnt yet, but it's getting there. So you don't want it to be too hot, but you definitely don't want it to be too cold. But even if you didn't have the skillet too hot like I did here, you know, just cooking probably one or two batches in one batch of grease is all that you'll be able to get, because the flour kind of turns the grease like a scorched taste and makes it thick like a paste too. So, you know, don't be surprised if you have to replace the grease. It looks like with the amount of squash I have left, looks like I'm going to replace the grease just one time, because this is the only one piece of squash. Be careful when you turn these over, because these might burn you. Okay, so now that I've got this other batch already cooked, I'm going to give it a taste test. And I really like these ones that are shaped like this, because they look like a fish. Mmm. That's nice. Nice and crunchy. Okay, so this is my test batch, and I can tell that I got a little bit too much salt in the breading. So I'm glad that I tested it first, because all I have to do is add more flour to tone down the salt. So I'm glad I didn't cook more than these two. still good though, even though it's salty. It's hot. Can you see how nice and golden brown this is and crispy? I don't know if you can hear the sound of the crispiness. It's that way on both sides, so this is ready. Move this one over here to the hotter zone. Woo, that squash is good. So this one just needs a couple more, I don't know, maybe a minute, 45 seconds, something like that. And then it'll be ready. And then whenever it gets ready, I'm gonna replace the oil and then cook the rest of the squash like I just showed you. Let's try this one. This looks like a little fish swimming. I don't know why I like them fish shaped. I'm thinking it's just fun. Yummy. That's nice and golden brown. Okay, let's turn the fire off. I don't know if you can tell how one side of the skillet is browner than the other. That's the thing about cooking with gas stoves. It seems to have a hot spot where the gas is. It's okay though. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let that be the end of the video. So I hope you try cooking you some squash like I did. I hope you like to eat it as much as I do.